Springs. It's a 2-hour drive up here. And I prayed most of the way for the Holy Ghost to fall. And I tell you what, I would have drove to the West Coast for this.
Yes.
Now my story is I was raised up in church most of my life. And I drifted away for quite some time. And when I even 10 years ago got in trouble with the law really bad. And I spent some jail time, I'm not going to lie. And when I come out of that jail, I made a decision because in the years past, I had been prophesied over, not by one person, but multitudes of people had prophesied over me, but I had a call in my life, but I had a purpose for being on this earth, and that there was something that I was supposed to be doing. And so when I got my life back right, I became an ordained minister. And I started preaching and everything, and things were going great. And are y'all familiar with an old rotten dog named Satan?
Yeah.
Well, he grabbed a hold of me, and he pulled me out of that. And I'm sorry, I'll get emotional through this because I love my Lord and Savior.
Oh, we don't care.
So I was living the way I wanted to live, however I wanted to, knowing that I was supposed to be doing something different. But I told my wife, I said, I want to start a new business. And so I started up a lawn care and landscaping business. And I started it this year. And I was looking at a $60,000 summer of mowing grass. And you think, wow, how's that possible? But it is. You know, that was all in my books. And, but you know, I was always a family man. That was most important to me. And I found myself working 16-hour days, 16-hour days, 6 days a week. I wasn't spending that time with my children and with my wife that I was supposed to. And if I wasn't at work, working like a dog, I was at home drinking. And my kids got to see Daddy drunk more than I cared to admit. Well, to make a long story short, I was an able-bodied man, walking, doing great, working everything. Boy, I thought I was on top of the world. And we were at a swimming hole in Hopper, Arkansas called the Blue Hole. It's an old barite mine. And it's got the prettiest, bluest water you ever seen in your life. I mean, it's just spectacular to look at from an aerial view. It's beautiful. And I'd only been there, this would have been my 3rd time. Well, let me back up just a little bit. I kind of want to make the dots connect here. I was at that Blue Hole on May 20th. May 19th, I was in Athens, Arkansas. I was picking up a lawnmower that I was going to use in my business. I went to the Pickle Fest. Me and my boys, it was just the 3 of us. We went and got our hair cut in Athens. Why get your hair cut in Athens? Well, it was a bonding moment. I mean, we had the time of our life that day. We went home, and the next day, I said, you know what? And it was a Sunday. It was May 20th of this year, a Sunday. I said, why don't we go over there to that Blue Hole? Let's go swimming. All right, Dad. All right, let's go. Now, mind you, all these kids, when I speak of, the 3 of them, 2 are twins. They're 16 years old, and my oldest son is 21. They're my stepchildren. I have a biological daughter that's 15 also, but they're all my kids. They have been from day one.
Amen.
I've raised the twins since he was 4, and the other guy since he's 9 years old. And, you know, they're my world. And we were out there and we were swimming, and I was drinking beer. And I only took just a few with me, which is different. And I wasn't drunk at all. I wasn't even buzzed. I wasn't inebriated one bit. But there's a cliff at this place, and I've heard stories of people running and jumping off that, how much fun it is. Now, mind you, my dad, all his life, God rest his soul, he's gone now. But he had told me all of my life never to jump from anything.
No.
And, well, I thought, Dad ain't here, and I'm 43 years old, and I'm going to have some fun. And so I went around there, climbed up on that bluff, and there was a couple of 20-year-olds there, and they kept throwing rocks off and seeing how far out into the water they would fall. And I said, you boys just step aside and let the old man show you how it's done. Without even thinking, I ran, and I jumped off a 40-foot high bluff. Now, I did the math on that. For a man my size then, I was 240 pounds then. For me to fall 40 feet, I fell 1.5 seconds, and I was going 60 miles an hour when I hit that rock ledge, feet first, 2 foot underneath the water. It crushed my spine. I could feel it crushing as I hit. And I bounced my back off the bluff, and I went under the water, and I surfaced. I didn't even have the gasp for air. And I knew I couldn't move my feet. I couldn't move my legs. I was paralyzed from the waist down. I just sat there and tread water. Well, the 120-year-old guy up there, he was going to run and jump, and I screamed at him, "Don't do it, I'm paralyzed." And he goes, "Oh, you're just joking, old man." I said, "No, sir, I can't move my feet or legs. I'm paralyzed, and I got to get out of here." I swam 200 feet across that waterway with just my upper body. And I got to the bank over there. It was a little 3-foot bank, rolling bank with shale rock. And I told them people that were there, it was my 3 kids and about 5 other people. I told them, I said, "You're going to have to grab me by my forearms. I'm going to make fists. Y'all going to grab me by my forearms." And I'm talking just like this, just as normal as could be. Wasn't excited, wasn't agitated, nothing. And I said, "Y'all going to have to pull me up on this bank." Mind you, the Blue Hole, you're without cell service for about a 20 to 24 mile radius. So my wife's a nurse, and one of my best friends was a paraplegic, crazy enough, all the lifetime that I knew him. And so I knew that I didn't have a lot of time because my spinal cord could swell and that could make things even worse. So they pulled me up onto a blanket, and 6 of them got it kind of like a straightforward or a gurney or what have you. And they took me and put me in the back seat of a little Mazda sedan, face down, folded my legs up, and shut the door. And me and my 2 boys, away we went. My daughter didn't even have a place to ride. The people that were there from Texarkana took my daughter and my dog home. And we headed out for help to where we could get cell phone service and call for help. Well, my son was speeding like crazy, and I told him, I said, "Son, you're going to have to slow down. You're killing me. This is hurting bad, you know." I was laying there with one hand down in the floorboard just to steady myself. And I heard sirens. We got pulled over. And he jumped out, and he said, help us. My dad's paralyzed." He jumped at the Blue Hole. And the officer said, "Okay, let's go out to the main highway. And there's a pull-off there, and I'll call for help. I'll get an ambulance on the way." And I screamed, "You better make it a helicopter." And so when we got down there was an ambulance there, but I could hear the helicopter landing. And all I could see was blue sky. And I never had any fear, though. I wasn't worried about a thing. All I could think about was, wow, I've always wanted to ride in a helicopter. And what a way to ride, huh? My first trip, you know. And anyhow, they took me up to the helicopter and put me in there, and one of the flight medics was going to give me a shot, pain. And I said, "No, I don't want nothing for pain." He said, "Son, you need something, you're bound to be hurting." And I said, "Yes, I am." I said, "But I want to be totally coherent. When my wife meets me, I want to be able to talk to her." And my wife's not here tonight because, just like on May 20th, she was working. She works graveyard at Children's Hospital in the NICU unit. And mind you, on the way there to the helicopter, I called my wife and told her, "Baby, don't cry, don't get upset, but I'm paralyzed, and they're going to fly me to UAMS." And then she was on her way to UAMS from Children's Hospital, and then I called my mom. And I told her, "Mom," I said, "don't panic, but I've jumped over here and I'm paralyzed." And she says, "Oh, my Lord, son, why did you do that?" I said, "It seemed like a good idea. It seemed like fun. But it didn't work out so well for me. What would have been that split second of fun is landing me in the chair." But I ended up, long story short, I ended up getting over to UMS, and they did the CT scan on me, and they were planning on doing surgery Monday morning about 6 o'clock. And they come to me and they said, "We've got to rush you to the OR right now. Your L1 vertebrae is disintegrated, and it's pressing against your spinal cord, and it's almost severed it in 2. So they rushed the neuro team in, and I remember they were so nice. They said, we're going to give you a shot, and we're going to put you to sleep before we even turn you and put you on. It was a weird looking apparatus over there. It wasn't like a regular surgery table. I said, okay, I'm all right with that now. Well, it took them 5 hours to put me back together with cadaver bones, titanium rods, and screws. And I spent a little while in the ICU. And then I got in a regular room. And I remember when I got in that regular room, my wife didn't even know this for the longest, but I prayed, Father, I ask that your will be done. If you want me to be paralyzed the rest of my life, I'm okay with that, because there must be a reason for it. And you know what God put on me right then? Son, you had to be broken. God will take you through a time and a trial and a test to break you and bring you back to your wits. And so I said then, Lord, I'll serve you to the bitter end. Whatever your will is, whatever happens through this, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I got my family, and they love me, and they're the best that I could ever have. I went on to Baptist Health Rehab, and I landed in the hospital bed, and I was trying to run my business from a hospital bed at UMS for a week and at Baptist Hospital. I was contacting clients and setting up dates for yards to be mowed and estimates to be given by my crewmen. And I was getting on the phone with the crew and everything. I was in excruciating pain. I mean, I barely could breathe. My back, my whole body hurt so bad. And you know, I just took a little break for that. And I got on Facebook, and there was a Facebook group there in Hot Springs. And I didn't know whether I would ever walk again. I didn't know what my situation for getting a wheelchair would be or anything else. And so I put on a little ad. I said, if anybody has a wheelchair for free or cheap, let me know. Mind you, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas on Facebook, the group for Hot Springs, Arkansas. This lady right here, Rhonda, messages me and wants to know if she can talk to me. And the best I remember, we talked on the phone, and she prayed for me, and it felt like I'd known her all my life. And I tell you what, folks, y'all are making disciples here. She's my angel. And I know my best friend that was a paraplegic for all his life, he was a Christian, and he prayed, and he knew every day that he would walk. And he never walked on this face of this earth, but he was walking in heaven.
That's right.
I can guarantee you.
Amen.
And I feel certain that the Spirit worked through him and sent me Rhonda. And wasn't much longer after that, her and Hannah come down to the hospital after a ball game, and they visited with me. And she brought a beautiful painting that had some words on it. And I can't remember exactly what it says. I've got it hanging in my bedroom at home. She said I'd probably throw it away, and I said, no, I won't. And she asked me who had made this saying. And she said, because I did some Facebook stalking, and I scrolled all the way back to the beginning of her Facebook. And she said, I've seen this on there. And I started crying, and I said that. And she put it into a painting. And it was the colors of my bedroom even. My wife's bedroom. And it hangs on our wall now, and it'll never come down. Because my own words are such an inspiration to me. I tell you what, it says in the Bible that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, and friends, a mustard seed is one of the smallest seeds around, that you can speak to a mountain and it will move. It says also in the Bible that by his stripes I am healed. My Lord and Savior stood at the whipping post, and he took a beating for me and y'all. And who had ever been switched by the granny or the mama? Just think of that hurt. Well, think about a cat of nine tails coming across your back and grabbing a hold of your skin and just ripping it from you. my Jesus did that for me. Because you know what now? After 5 months, I can walk 200 feet with a walker. I can do this. And I'll tell you, when I discharged from UMS, that neurosurgeon come in, and he said, son, you're lucky. And he said, there's 2 ways you're lucky. I said, how's that? At that time, I could barely move that foot right there like that. That's it. And it took everything in my power to do that. He said, you're lucky to be able to move that right foot right there. Okay, all right. He said, another thing that you're lucky for is that you're even talking to me. He said, you should be a dead man. He said, I can't wrap my mind around why you're not. And I said, sir, no hard feelings, but I know the good doctor. Yeah. And I said, he's going to heal me.
Amen.
And I still believe with all my heart that I will make a full recovery.
Yes.
Amen.
I will. I've got people all over the United States praying for me. And I know y'all been praying for me and everything. And I've even straightened my life up so well, but I'm doing motivational speeches at schools. And I'm preaching. I'm preaching at a little Baptist church. You ask me, am I Baptist? No. Am I Assembly of God? No. Am I Methodist? Am I Episcopalian? No. You know what I am? I'm kingdom-minded.
Amen.
I serve Jesus. And I've got my focus on Jesus. And I know there's been times that I've wanted to quit. And my kids, and my wife, and other people have been there to be my strength. And they told me, no, 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 you've never been a quitter. And you're not going to start now. And I've got over that hump. And I guarantee you there ain't one thing that's holding me back or going to slow me down. Because thy will be done.
Yes.
And it's going to be. I know it's right. I know a full healing is coming my way. And I'm going to be running the streets.
Amen.
I appreciate you guys for coming and letting me come up and talk to you. And I'll give Larry some credit too. He brought me a power wheelchair that they got for me so I could get around my property, because they've seen that I live on a mountainside, you know. And I met him and we just sat and talked like we were best friends and known each other forever. And it's a kindred spirit, folks.
Amen.
It's a kindred spirit. And I've sat here and I've praised and worshiped tonight, and I just feel like I'm one of y'all.
Amen.
And I told you, Pastor, but I watch you on Facebook, your live videos. I watch that, and I thank y'all for having me here tonight.
Amen.